Welcome back. It's a weekend full of scary stuff, and there's one particular thing that scares or just generally freaks some folks out. We're talking about clowns. Yeah, sorry about that if you're afraid of clowns. The University of Toledo's Dr. Daniel Campora is looking into why folks are, so weirded out by clowns. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Of course, we have Halloween coming up, and I think a lot of people, when they think of clowns, they go right to Pennywise, don't they?
Of course, yeah. And he's really probably the most recognizable scary clown right now, but he's certainly not the only one. Gosh, there's all kinds of them kind of surfacing. Right in theaters right now is Terrifier, featuring Art the Clown, which is probably the scariest clown I've ever seen.
Yeah, it does sound horrifying. So, but why? What is it? Is it because we've seen them in horror films, or where did this fear of clowns start? And what is it called again to be afraid of clowns?
The kind of unofficial term is called coulrophobia or coulrophobia. Nobody really knows how it's pronounced. But it's not recognized by any legitimate, diagnostic source like the DSM-5, Oxford English Dictionary, but Cleveland Clinic has a page on it. So pretty much it's just the fear of clowns, and whether it's rational or irrational, coulrophobia is the term that's been culturally adopted for this. As a child,
you go to the circus or you go wherever, and I've never really, they're supposed to be nice and friendly, and we're supposed to like them, right?
Exactly. And, you go way back to the 1890s with the play Pagliacci, in which they had a killer clown in that play. And there's some apocryphal stories about Charles Dickens, when he wrote finished the biography of the guy named Joseph Grimaldi, who was the first actor to characterize the white-faced clown, and his life was tragic. And I think that the tragic clown may have been born out of those two things in the 1800s. But probably the scariest thing would be John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer in Illinois, who killed 33 young men and boys, and he hid behind his clown persona.
And that wasn't all that long ago, 1980. But so when you think about it, you say kind of started back, as far as we know, as early as the 1800s. Here in 1980, this man adopted this clown on his killing spree. So knowing that people have that fear, I imagine, is played a part in that.
Yeah, and I believe Stephen King did so much to make it mainstream. We had the clown scares of 2016, which people started just dressing up like clowns in big cities and scaring people. And that was even before the remake of Stephen King's It hit theaters. So it's kind of strange that just what makes people afraid of clowns. And I agree. I mean, I was never afraid of them. I actually, when I first read it, wondered, wow, this was really a good, scary book. Wonder why he couldn't find something scarier than a clown.
But come to find out, a lot of people thought it was, in fact, quite scary. So you are going to have a lecture tomorrow. Is that correct? That people can participate in? Tell us the details on that.
Well, it's at 7:30 tomorrow at the University of Toledo's library, and I will be talking about Stephen King's role in kind of modernizing the scary clown phenomenon, and going through a little bit of a walkthrough of history and some pop culture references to the most terrifying of the clowns.
So do people need to register ahead of time for that, or can they just show up?
No, I think it's just show up, and I'm hoping at least a couple people do.
I'm sure they will, because I do think that there is this fascination, first of all, with Halloween and scary movies and things like that, and then I think people would love to dive into the history of this, where we first started seeing these scary clowns pop up, and as you mentioned, what Stephen King has really done to propel this fear of clowns in so many of us. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I think everybody will may be driving home after that tomorrow, might be looking over their shoulder a little bit, but
I won't be dressed up like a clown.
Oh, good. That's good news. All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. Take care.
Thanks.
Well, there's plenty of good day on the way. We won't scare you too much anymore, including the right way to get rid of those beautiful leaves in your yard. And we get artsy onto Amanda and Diane's Knit Along when Toledo's the longest running 9 a.m. show continues.